All right. Welcome to another Captain's Quarters podcast. Captain, be right back. There he is.
All right. Sorry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Captain's Quarters podcast. Tonight is going to be an unusual show. It's been unusual now for the past hour and a half trying to make this work, so we're going to see what happens. As you can see, we have mermaids all over the place, and as mischievous as they are, well, guess what? They are a problem. And we're going to see how much of a problem they're not going to be. But for now, how do you find us? Ladies and gentlemen, every week, 8 p.m., YouTube. You can go ahead and get that QR code. Come on to YouTube and watch us and like us and have a good time with our show every week. It would be wonderful for you to hit the bell, subscribe to us, and follow us. Those are the things we want so you can be a part of the Captain's Quarters podcast crew. So, YouTube, Captain's Quarters podcast. Be there. We need you. Thank you very much. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we always like to start off with 8 Bells. So, 8 Bells is sponsored by the Riker Reenactment family. And they're part of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers. And as you can tell, Max loves the Rikers. So, on that note, what do we have for 8 Bells? George Alfred Winterling, an American television meteorologist and the creator of the Heat Index. Chief meteorologist for television stations in Jacksonville. And for 50 years, helped develop modern forecasting. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to have to go and kill a dog. Mr. Davey, will you take over on the next one, please?
Yes. Of course. So, then we have Frederick Fenimore Forrest Jr. He was an American actor. Forrest came to public attention for his performance in When Legends Die in 1972, which earned him a nomination for the Golden Globe Award for Most Promising Newcomer. He went on to receive Academy and Golden Globe Award nominations in Best Supporting Actor category for his portrayal of Hudson Dyer in the musical drama The Rose in 1979. He was 86. Then we have Dennis Dean Smith. Was an American track and field athlete and stuntman and winner of the gold medal in the 4x100 meter relay at the 1952 Summer Olympics. He was also an actor and noted stuntman, appearing in many films and TV series. In 1997, he was named All-American Cowboy, and in 1998, he received the Golden Boot Award. In 2007, he received the Silver Spur Award for his contributions as a stuntman in the film business. He was 91. Does Bill want the last one?
I can take the last one, sure. David Borman, an American news executive working in television networks, news, cable news, news media, internet, convergence, and consulting. Borman created almost a dozen new TV news programs on ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, and Tech TV. As CNN's senior vice president and Washington bureau chief, he was in charge of all the programming, production, and news gathering for CNN in Washington, D.C., as well as overseeing CNN's Global Special Events Division. He was 69, ladies and gentlemen, and there is. Is that all we have? Was 4 this time?
Just 4.
4 it is, and as we always like to say, we raise a glass. If you have one, raise a glass, ladies and gentlemen, and 8 bells. Those 8 bells sounded really different, didn't they?
Yeah.
Cheers to every one of the fans of those people, and our condolences to their loved ones and the fans. Next is Joke of the Week with Mini Mayhem.
All right.
Ahoy, mates. Mini Mayhem here with the Joke of the Week, sponsored by Shiver Me Pictures. What is a pirate's least favorite veggie? Think about it, and I will give you the answer at the end of the show.
All right, hopefully you heard that. He sounds like he's from some little island out in the middle of the Gulf. We'll have to work on his language abilities here. But at the end, we'll give you a recap of that. Quote of the Week by Spyglass Travel. If you want a great walking tour of St. Augustine and the history of St. Augustine, you need to see my friends over there at Spyglass Travel. They will do you right. It is well worth it. They are in the top 10 of walking tours of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. You should see them. So, their quote of the week is how they sponsor us. So there we are.
I got two of them.
Two, very good.
One special one because of mermaids.
All right. Fill your heart with what's important and be done with all the rest. Mystic Mermaid. I like that. I should have read that before the show. A great talker may be no fool, but he is one that relies on him. Benjamin Franklin. Oh, I like that one. Very good. The mermaid one was good too. Very good. All right, so on that note, question of the week is very simple, and it's sponsored by our friends at Ancient City Sirens. Our good friend Gina Marie and all the girls dancing and doing sirens and pirate work. My goodness, their belly dancing talent is extraordinary. Why do we like mermaids so much? Well, that's for you to figure out as we get further into the show. And on that note, before we get further into the show, we don't really have anything for crew adventures or adventures on the horizon right now because it's been a very, very nice, relaxing couple of 5 or 6 weeks. So, I do have something I want to share with everybody. First off, a quick video. This happened this past weekend with me and some friends here in St. Augustine. Arrgh! So we got an actual working cannon over here.
Wow.
Gentlemen, that's my friends from Coleman, Alabama. That's John Dean and his family. They were in St. Augustine this past weekend. His daughter, who was in the picture, got to be a part of the pinning ceremony. She's taking medical classes here, and she's reached the point in her studies that she gets to wear a white coat and go out now and start to do things out in the real world as part of her studies. So they were down here for that ceremony. The tall one in the back is her husband, and the shorter one back there, why, that's John Dean's lovely wife. Now, I met them last year at my son's wedding up in Coleman, Alabama. I had nothing to do for an afternoon, and I found a brewery, and guess what I did? I went and sat at the brewery. One of those pictures I sent you, Davey, shows the inside of the brewery. There's their logo. Life's too short to drink bad beer. Yes, that's a great one. Coleman, Alabama, Goat Island Brewery. What's it? And there, ladies and gentlemen, if you were to look, that's my favorite beer right there. That's the beer they make, and I love. And guess what? I got a six-pack this weekend, and I'm sitting here drinking one of them right now. Not the six-pack, but one of the beers, obviously. Aye. And did you get the last picture there, Davey?
Yeah, I only got 3.
Aye. All right. Well, we missed that one. That's all right. I did send you one of the inside of the brewery, but we'll get that one later on. Something unusual happened, though, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up. They're staying at a bed and breakfast here in St. Augustine on Sanchez Street. And when they told me that, I asked them what the address was, and the house they're staying in was the house I was born in 1958. How interesting is that? That was, so weird, but I had to share that. They're good friends. They make great beer, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have one right here in front of me, and I have another one right here in the mug, so it's ready for me to use. Great beer, and I got to figure out how to get it sent down here by the keg. So, on that note, it's time to talk to our mermaids. Now, let's see. I have 4 mermaids here, 3 in the studio, and 1 coming in from North Carolina, correct?
Yes.
All right, very good. So here's what we'll do. You can see Siren, Sorsha there. And for any sound problems we have tonight, ladies and gentlemen, don't kick us too hard in your reviews. This is something new we're trying, and we have the girls, the other mermaids, right there on the other side of the studio. So let's do this. Ladies in the studio, go ahead and tell everybody your names.
I'm Freya. And I'm Stella.
And I'm the goddess Ren.
Aye, and ladies and gentlemen, they're pretty scary. Well, not scary in a bad way, but scary in a great way. And then we have Siren, Sorsha. So, introduce yourself also.
I'm the Siren Sorsha, and I moonlight as a swashbuckling siren. I am a part-time pirate as well.
as are all the other girls that we have here. All three of the girls in studio are part of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers. Those of you that caught our show about 5 or 6 weeks ago, and we had a sword-fighting pirate on board our show. If you remember him, his name was Steve. That is the other half of the Siren Sorsha. But I will say this, and I'm quite sure Steve is probably watching, so I'll say it anyway. Sorsha is the better half of the two. What can you say? So let's start with Siren Sorsha. How long have you been doing mermaiding?
I bought my first tail from Finfolk Production. Actually, I keep forgetting it's reversed, but I got the Dragonheart Tail of the Month. I believe it was September 2021. And I started learning how to swim and everything. I'd say I really truly became a mermaid about January, February of last year, and it's just taken off in the last year.
And have you done any swimming as a mermaid?
Yes, I have. I have 2 certifications. I went to Lake Denton, Florida with Mermaid Free Dive, the Vero Beach Mermaid, and I received my PADI Mermaid and Advanced Mermaid certifications. And the plan is to get my mermaid instructor certification this year. You're teasing me with the water sounds.
I heard the water sound there. I'm thinking, Navigator Longwood, if you keep putting sounds in there that I'm not familiar with, you're going to make me think there's more things wrong going on here. So let's go to our ladies in the studio here, and let's start with Freya. And for those of you that don't know, yes, that one in the middle is my better half too. So everybody needs to know that that's my better half. And you've been doing mermaid now for how long there, lovely?
I think about 2 years now.
Yeah, 2 years. And the one on your left, that's her real name is Sindra, and she's part of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers. And you guys, it looks really strange. I got to tell you something, and the audience needs to know. We have the big giant TV turned on, and they're looking at the TV, and the camera is off to the other side. So it was really weird when I was you were answering questions, and you're looking like off in the. No, they're not on drugs, ladies and gentlemen. So, Sindra, how long have you been doing mermaiding?
Oh, about a year now.
Yeah. And you, did you start doing mermaiding because you were part of the Swashbucklers? Or?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Now, and that's Grace there. And Grace has some other backgrounds, too. She used to work and was a very integral part of the Black Raven also.
True.
You didn't do any mermaiding on the Black Raven, did you?
No.
No.
Strictly the evil pirate queen.
Hey, the camera is on the table in front of you. See that white light? What are you looking at over there?
You?
Yeah, the white light on the table. Yeah, the little tiny round white light. Yeah, see that round? Here, a piece of advice. Look at the light, but don't go into it, okay? All right?
You're no fun.
Lord, is a mermaid. Has to go into the light.
All right. So I'm trying to regroup my thoughts here. So
How long have I been a mermaid? 3
Captain's
weeks.
lost it, yes. Go ahead there, Grace. How long have you been doing
3
mermaid?
weeks. I used to guard the mermaids, and they kept bugging me to be one.
Well, now you are one. That's
I
very
am.
good. Sorsha,
Yes.
since you've only been doing it a couple of years, some of your best memories might be right there in your head. Tell us one of your best memories as a mermaid.
I'm going to call on my very first swimming event, and it was actually thanks to my other half, who's the reason why I'm a full-fledged mermaid, really became a professional mermaid. We do the Mile of Hope every year. The Shadow Players have been doing it for about 20 years. It is a nonprofit organization that gives a weekend at the beach to pediatric cancer patients. And my first time last year actually being there for the entire weekend, I got in the pool and swam with the kids on Saturday, and there was one little girl that she went up and was resting while I was in the pool, and so when she came down, I had already gone in, So I arranged with her mother, Steve and I arranged with her mother after the aquarium trip on Sunday that she could come out, and she wouldn't be able to get in the water with me because the temperature outside was so cold. Luckily, the water was heated. But I spent 30 to 45 minutes, and it's still one of the, actually probably the most magical memory that I have. I had these little sinking, swimming fish that she was throwing to me, and I was fetching them for her and bringing them to her. And it was everything. And I keep looking back on that day and reminding myself that it's kids like that, or interactions with children, or even adults, that's why I do it.
So the interaction with children, almost every pirate we talk to, every mermaid we talk to, anybody of any type that dresses up like this, probably 99% of it is always because the best memories are always with the children, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So we'll go back over to Freya. Freya, can you tell us one of your best memories of being a pirate? I mean a mermaid?
A pirate. And yes, I am a pirate also. I do moonlight. Anyway, my best memory, I think, was the first mermaid and pirate day that they had in Palm Coast. Excuse me. And it was a giant family that showed up. These were all for the foster kids. And this family must have had, I don't know, how many do you think, Captain?
I think they had 8 kids.
Yeah, there was a lot.
And they were all foster children.
Dressed, and they were all foster children.
They were all foster children.
And they were all dressed in pirate regalia, everything. They were all decked to the nines. And the little girl, oh my goodness, she was so adorable. And she just wanted to keep touching Gina, her hair and everything. It was just so cute. And they posed with such cute pictures. It was a great day.
And that event was put on by the Seawolf Privateers
Yes.
down in Flagler County, and that's their main purpose is working with foster children. And we've actually done that event with them now 2 years. And the second year, you did it, but Grace did it with you, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And so, do you have a memory of that second year that you think stands out?
I think it was just having fun with different mermaids too was great. And it was just, this year it was inside, so it was a lot nicer because it was cooler. And everybody was closer together. You could see more of the interaction with all the other kids and the other pirates.
What about you, Grace? Did something stand out in your head?
A lot of the kids recognized Freya from last year. And I thought that was neat. They remembered her and they wanted to get their pictures taken again with her. And for me, it was, the one little girl was very funny. She looked at her and said, "You're the good one." She looked at me and said, "You're the bad mermaid." She did it twice.
Yeah.
She ran by. It was a run by.
It was a run by bad.
So, Cinder, do you have a good memory that, because you've not been doing mermaiding very long, so but do you have a good memory that you think is wonderful to share with everybody?
I actually have a few. One is my granddaughter's got to mermaid. That is one of my dear to my heart. Another one is just the expressions on the kids' faces when you give them your story, and you can just see you're bringing a fantasy world to them, and I just love it.
Now, you helped. You were one of the mermaids at the Seafood Festival that the Swashbucklers do every year with the Lions Club. And the Swashbucklers have done the Lions Club Seafood Festival now for 8 or 9 years. And this last year was the best mermaid booth we'd ever had there. And you were in it, and Freya was in it. Grace, were you in it also?
No, I wasn't.
No, you weren't in it that one there. Well, cats don't eat the mermaid. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the cats. The dog has been put down now. In a good way, though. In a good way.
Catfish.
Yeah. I see somebody. The real treasure hunters are watching, and that water that they heard, they said that was me pouring another beer. So, there's a good picture from. Which one is that one from, Davey?
That was from the.
That was from the
mermaid.
The one in Flagler County. That's right. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, we do so many events now, I truly can't keep them straight. That's the Seafood Festival right there.
No,
That's
is.
the seafood.
That's the seafood.
Yeah, that's the
festival.
seafood festival. Yeah, it's going to be delayed on the other TV, okay?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
There's Miss Gina, who is supposed to be with us tonight, but she's not doing well right now. She's a little under the weather.
That was our
So
Halloween.
we have her, and let's see here. Is that Sindra there sitting on the left? That's Sindra and Freya and Miss Gina. Very good. And that was the Halloween event we did. Oh yeah, there's the powder monkey, always having to get in the picture with all the girls. We can't do anything without that powder monkey being a part of it. So Sorsha, you're going to have to be very careful when you show up down here at any time. Just always watch out, because the powder monkey he'll come get you.
I'll come packing.
I poke him in the butt. Yeah, he might like it.
Cheeky monkey.
So, what's on the horizon for you, Sorsha? I mean, have you figured out how to be a sword fighting mermaid yet?
I have, and actually, I'll send Davey a picture of me in my swashbuckling siren kit. I've done it a couple times now, wearing my finfolk top, my finfolk leggings, that represent one of my tails, usually my nightshade. But I have come out, and the shtick is that I'm fighting the captain because, he promised me grand adventures and, places I've never seen on land. And so I traded my tail for a set of legs. And what does he do? He sticks me on the sound system. So, no, I do have a lot of fun with it, though. And I mean, I started out as a pirate, and, I owe it to the shadow players that I became a mermaid and had these opportunities. And I didn't know that I could be a professional mermaid until I met Mermaid Minuet years ago and followed Finfolk, and just ever since I bought the Dragonheart, I haven't looked back. So now it's just continuing to travel with the shadow players. Steve told me, bring your tail to every event now, just on standby. I'll have to bring the treasure chest seat that I have to, and probably doing more events at the North Carolina Aquarium at Pine Knoll Shores. That was my first land meet and greet, and just anything's possible. Whatever's on the horizon, I'm aiming for it.
Well, we want you to keep the first weekend in February penciled in. I have to figure out how to take care of the obligations and the parlay that we'll have to come up with, but we'd like to have both you and Steve come down, and I'm working on some ideas for it, so we'll see what happens.
Love to. I'll pack more than one tail.
There you go. And we have a wonderful setup for the mermaids, so maybe we can get you to be a mermaid for just a little bit with the girls, and we'll have mermaids for the whole weekend. I'm trying to figure out ways to extend Old City Pirate Festival to an actual 2.5-day event instead of a 1.5-day event.
Ooh, that'd be
we'll
lovely.
see what happens. So it'll be great to have you down here. Now, the girls in the studio, as they're sitting there comparing notes.
That's always
when
a
is
dangerous
the next
prospect.
thing that we're doing? Can you girls keep me straight? When's the next thing we're doing that we're going to use mermaids for? Do you remember?
Kids Fest?
Huh?
Are we going to do it for Kids Fest?
We may. Kids Fest is in
Otherwise,
October.
it's October.
The problem with that is I think it's on the same weekend as Spooktacular. Which and I've already gotten so many other I've gotten about 2 other offers to do stuff the same weekend, and we're really Spooktacular is a big thing. If you wanted to come down, Sorsha, and just be a Halloween mermaid, we have a spot for that too.
I mean, and I've got, I'll show you. I've got a couple of these coming in. So I've got the darker Halloween-esque, spooky tales coming in. So thank you, Finfolk.
Very good. So,
Oh, nice.
so ladies in my studio, pop their screen up there, Davey, so everybody can see them. I want them to give us tell us why you think it's so much fun, or why do you want to be mermaids?
Well, you always tell me, Captain, I'm a little vain, so I just wanted to look pretty.
Well, in front of everybody, I'll tell you this: you don't need a tail and a crown to look pretty.
Aww.
That was nice. Thank you.
Well, we'll hope that gets me out of trouble here, because I've been a real terror most of the afternoon trying to fix everything that's been broken today.
We've been
No.
threatening to devour him.
Yeah, so that's all I need. So here's a good one for you. A question just popped into my head, and it's about Pirates of the Caribbean. And I think it was the third or the fourth episode that was about the vampire mermaids. I think it was the fourth, but it was about the vampire mermaids. So did anybody see that?
Yeah.
All right. So do you think vampire mermaids is a good character?
Yeah. They had fangs anyway.
Yeah. Sirens were mean.
Sirens weren't nice at all. They actually drugged sailors down to the depths and
Use the fishing
And
net.
they're
and
like-
some
Hey, I
people
can't help it,
just
they can't
threw it
breathe
over and
underwater.
brought 'em down to the depths.
Aye, that's true. What'd you say, Sorsha?
I said I can't help it. They can't breathe underwater.
exactly.
So
Okay, come on.
Nightingale in Florida asks a really great question. Where did the legends of mermaids come from? Well, there's a whole lot of ideas of where mermaids came from. I can tell you one of the ones from the Spanish. When the Spanish came here to Florida, they actually believed that they were seeing mermaids in the water here, and what they were actually seeing were manatees. Now, I've told that story a couple of times in my tours in the museum, and I have a whole lot of people that they thought manatees were mermaids. But you have to understand the way men's ideal image of women has changed over the centuries. And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to get slapped in the face for saying anything bad. Go ahead, yes, I know. So it's so I see that. Let me see if I can get my cursor here. There's a good picture. Is that you?
That's me.
Look at that. That's a
That
great
was the
picture.
memory I was talking about.
Now, and there's you doing sword fighting.
Yep, with my partner Alex. She's the one that I've been fighting with since 2019 or 2018 when I started training. So I started off fighting with her in the show, but that's my Swashbuckling Siren crossover kit.
Now I see something there that tells me, very good. I see a big red line in the grass there. You all put out a safety line, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Very good. I like that. Story time, and look at all the little extra mermaids sitting there for story time. Isn't
Yeah, that was
cute?
at the Eastern North Carolina Ren Fair in Kinston, and that photo was actually taken by Crystal McKenzie. She took a bunch of great ones of us. But yeah, that's Siren story time. So that book is How to Catch a Mermaid.
Well, very cool. Well, maybe that's one of the things we need to incorporate in our mermaids, is to have specific times that the mermaids are going to actually do some kind of a story, and we have all the different books that we can acquire. That one there, and that one there. We have that one there. We've got that one in our museum for sure, and I think we have the how
Yeah, we have
fish
that
cleans
one.
up the ocean. The pirates are coming.
It's like The
All
Boy Who
great
Cried
books.
Wolf, but it's pirates.
Yes, we have. I think we have almost every one of those in the Pirate and Treasure Museum. So we'll have to start building our collection of children's books so that we can just do mermaid story time. That'll be a good way to have the mermaids really be an activity instead of just sitting there. It's always good because you're really stuck. You can't get up and go wander around with the tail on, so you're really kind of stuck. But having something in Norse mythology, mermaids were called sea women. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that other word. That would I have enough problems as it is.
I'm loving all the comments over here with people coming out with all the different mermaid mythology
Yes.
and lore and everything. This is
So let's see
amazing.
here. I see. I'm looking at something from Christina Kaplan.
Yes, actually, hold on. I've
Jeremiah
got
is from
Jeremiah.
Africa and Cuban adopted. Ireland has selkies. Their mermaids are seals. What is that?
That's Yamaya.
From the African and Cuban stories. There it is right there. She's more of the mother of the sea and children, but she's a mermaid. Very good, very good. Goddess Targetus, who threw herself into a lake after accidentally killing her mortal lover and took the form of a fish. There's an interesting story. Wow. So one of the great things about doing these, picking a subject that we do like mermaids, and now everybody gets to learn something because everybody gets to throw a little bit of extra information in there, and we all get to find out all kinds of different directions because, after all of us are from all over the place. So this gives us an opportunity to really understand what mermaids are all about. So what is the story? Let's go with the girls first in the studio. Do any of you have you worked on a backstory yet for your mermaid?
They all look to me.
Yeah, and you look to the screen and not the camera.
There's the camera.
Go ahead.
So, yes, the goddess of the sea, in Norse mythology, and I can't really say that word that was up there either. But yes, in Norse mythology, the goddess of the sea worked hand in hand with her husband. As he took down the ships, she would throw her fishnet out and then grab all the sailors and bring them down to basically Davy Jones' locker, although they had a different name for it, and drown them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's a good backstory there. Freya, have you come up with a backstory for your mermaid yet?
No, I actually really haven't. I just decided on a name just recently.
She's the good one.
I'm the good mermaid, but I haven't come up with an idea yet. Nobody's asked me. they just say, "Oh."
And Sindra, you've been doing mermaiding the shortest amount of time. You probably have just been having fun wearing the tail and just flipping about.
Actually, I tell everybody that I was captured by these wretched pirates, and they keep me trapped in a net, and all the kids love it.
Well, we always want to keep our mermaids captured, that's for sure. What about you, Sorsha? Do you have a backstory with yours?
So originally I was the Siren Scarlet because I was all things Dragonheart, but then I switched my name to Siren Sorsha because it kind of lines along with my pirate name Sorcha Murphy of Ireland. So the backstory, I haven't fully fleshed one out yet, but just, I'm actually writing a short story about, the Siren Sorsha that was captured by an infamous pirate Lord Quentin, and in exchange for her freedom, she granted him immortality. So I'm actually wearing a little necklace that a little boy named Quentin gave me, and he just such a sweetheart. And that's the kind of story that I'm going with. And then it also ties into, the infamous Captain Mantis that later captured me as well, and then pleaded with the king to keep me. So that's the short story that I'm working on right now.
Well, it's always great to work on characters with a little bit of backstory in them, because when I'm out doing, everybody's always asking, well, where did Mayhem come from, or how did Mayhem come up, or what's that? And of course, the most common question is, how do you do all those insurance commercials? So having a backstory gives you something to conversate with the people that come and want to see you, and otherwise, it opens the door for conversations that you can have with the people that are coming to see you. Otherwise, you end up spending that time staring at them while they're staring at you, and it's a very awkward situation at times. But unmute Mandy real quick, baby.
She muted herself.
Okay, unmute yourself, Mandy, because I'm going to ask you a question. But you have to unmute yourself. Somehow she's muted. There we go. All right.
Okay.
So you have characters and you work with children too. I'm going to bring you into the conversation here. And you have Utah Pirates, which works with children all the time. You have a couple of mermaids too, right?
Correct.
And tell us how you use them, because some of the time you're using them in with reading programs, correct?
So we use them in a couple different things when I take them out with Reach. We have had them do literacy with the kids. We thought it would be fun. A couple years ago, we brought on like a recycling style program explaining what gets stuck in the ocean, and actually have the mermaids, like the kids are rescuing the mermaids, and we have them like all trapped in all sorts of stuff and explaining why you try to recycle and put trash away like you're supposed to and things like that.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah, we have a little too much fun some days because we don't have a lot of water to swim in all the time because we get like 6 months of snow. But
Snowmaids. So that's
Let's
a really
hear it
good
for heated
idea.
pools.
What's that?
Heated
What's that,
pools.
Sorsha?
I said, let's hear it for heated pools.
Yes, heated pools for sure. That's a really good idea to use mermaids for conservation learning for children. That's a wonderful idea. Captain Mayhem may have to be a real pirate and steal that from you. There's a great photo. Is
That's
that
me
you,
swimming and
Sorsha?
said heated pool.
Yes. So now
That was
that's
when
not-
I got my
that's not a pool.
certification.
What's that?
That was when I got my certification in Lake Denton, Florida.
Oh, very good.
I like your waters down there. Trust me, I want to come down and see you and swim in those waters more.
Well, you should. And what you can do then is you can take these mermaids here with you and you show them the ropes.
Come on.
Happily.
There's a really great place down south of Marineland that a lot of the pirate groups all go to for photo taking opportunities. It's one of the only places, only beaches on all of the Florida East Coast that has rocks all over it. Huge rocks everywhere. And so it makes great photo opportunities for pirates and or mermaids. So maybe you come down here, you and your man just come down here for a weekend and we'll goof off for a bit and bring some pirates out. We'll have a good time. Because I know where all the good beer places are too.
There you go.
So, yes, and that's really good beer, by the way. Goat Island, by the way, just in case you didn't get that at the beginning of the show. Goat Island. Anyway, so, Mr. Henley, you're just sitting there ogling the girls. So, do you have anything you want to ask these lovely young ladies? Look at that, he's talking so much.
Speechless. Just speechless.
I had to catch him at least. I did have to catch him. So
Mermaid got his tongue.
yes, a mermaid got his tongue. That's usually what happened. So as far back as the stories, the Greek stories of Ulysses
the
and the
Odyssey.
Sirens, that's the farthest back I recall of stories of sirens. Is that one right there? In Michigan, we had Mermaid Mega Fest for 2 years where we promoted freshwater ecology. Oh, very good, Zachary Harker. That's a good one. Jeannie Fisher is giggling. Giggle, giggle.
You know what that means.
Yes. So, and I was just trying to think, there's a movie, it'll come to me in a minute, but as far as literature is concerned, have you ever read The Little Mermaid? I know Mandy has probably. Have you, Sorsha?
Hans Christian Andersen all over
Yeah,
it.
it's not exactly a children's tale, is it?
No.
Yeah.
No, not exactly a children's tale. Many of the things that we know today. Oh, look at there's some other mermaids right there. These are the mermaids of Utah Pirates. And is that Doctor Strange?
That's Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we were teaching superheroes and how to be everyday heroes. So we brought the mermaids in and we're teaching people how to be heroes and save the mermaids.
Oh,
That's a good Doctor Strange too. So
it is.
So you have a whole bunch of heroes that you use, Mandy, and you have quite a few people that are working with you to do what you do. Do you know off the top of your head how many heroes you actually do?
I think we have almost anything you can holler for, I probably have access for. And there's about 40 of us, I think, that kind of rotate. There's a good solid 10 to 15 of us that do the bulk of it. So like that, Doctor Strange is actually Hook, whom you've met.
He can do either, right?
Yeah, he does that. He does Lancelot. He does Gandalf. He does Dumbledore. I can't even think of his other weird character he's got that he runs around with in Lord of the Rings. Sorry.
What are you laughing at, Sorsha?
The catfish.
The catfish?
The catfish.
Yep, we got the catfish.
Yeah. We have 4 cats in this house and 1 dog, and sometimes it's a challenge to keep them out of the show. That's Dorian. I'm surprised the little baby isn't in right now, but I guess Dorian's liking the attention. Look at that. See? The cat smells fish. See, I get off on a tangent, then I forget what I wanted to ask.
I apologize. I squirrel momented the cat, so that was my fault that time.
Doggone cat. Now you know why the rum is always gone. And I'm not drinking rum tonight. I'm just drinking beer tonight. Because after all this is over, after this frustrating day, I'm going to go smoke a cigar in my hot tub. Oh, I know what it was I wanted to ask.
No?
Have you convinced Steve to be a man-made mermaid, or whatever the word is?
Merman.
A merman?
Merman.
Have you convinced Steve to do it yet?
No, I have not. And besides, I like him too much as a pirate.
Well, you know, I guess if he keeps wearing all these shirts that have no buttons on them and no sleeves, that's just as good, right?
I mean, when you look that good, when you got it, flaunt it, honey. So,
Well,
it'd be a sin to cover that up.
I really shouldn't say too much, because then it'll sound like I got a man crush, and we want to leave that alone. No, we really do have to get you to come down to St. Augustine and have a good time with us, just to get away.
Yes, please.
I know you guys are very busy with the shadow players and with everything that you both do anyway, but to have you come down, in fact, it would be great to have you come down, because then I can actually negotiate with Steve in person for some things that we need to do for Old City Fighter Fest, because I figure if I can get a really good bottle of rum there, it might be in my favor.
Well, how far is Vero Beach from St. Augustine?
Vero Beach to St. Augustine.
15 minutes or 3 hours?
3 hours.
3 hours. Okay.
Not too bad. Maybe
Because
less than that,
if
depending
I
on
end
how
up
fast
doing
you go.
another training, it'll be in Vero Beach.
So you've swam in the Gulf or in seawater or saltwater, right?
Yes.
Yes, and pools. So,
Yes. And in freshwater lakes.
and freshwater lakes. Now, none of my girls right now, and I say my girls, my crewmates, I will clarify that just to make sure. None of them have done any water time yet.
No.
So, in order for them to get registered or certified, they have to do certain things in the water also.
Go to Mermaid Free Dive, Brandy Anthony, Vero Beach Mermaid, and look up any of her classes. I know that she hosts some like basic or discovery mermaid classes, kind of beginners and everything. When I started, I basically was watching YouTube videos, or I was watching TikToks. Mermaid JC on TikTok and also Instagram. She's out of Canada and she's a PADI instructor. But she was the one that acquainted me with safety. She was the first one to welcome me to the mermaid community. So that's how I knew to have my best friend is my mer tender, mer wrangler, whatever you choose to call him. He may end up being a merman. But that's how I knew about safety. That's how I knew how to kind of work the dolphin kick. And then after speaking with Mermaid Aziza or Danielle, she was the one that kind of got me into slowing down. And it's really finding your form. But if you do want to go the route of going with certifications, I cannot recommend Mermaid Free Dive enough.
Well, it might be something that would be interesting to have some of our girls go to and to add to some of the things we do. Because the more things that you throw into the mix of things that you do, the more people want to have you come and do more things. And since we're doing all these things for children's charities for the most part, it would be a really good idea to expand their talent if they want to do that. I know my wife wants to do it. She's been talking about it, and so it's what's the website called again?
Mermaid Free Dive.
See, now maybe what I need to do is contact them and offer to put them on the show and see if I can't wrangle a parlay with them by putting them on the show and having them be guests on the show and see what we can do to wrangle something that way.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
All right, Mermaid Free Dive. We'll have to keep that away. Somebody just said it's 174 miles away to Vero Beach, which is 2.5 hours.
Got it.
So, and Mertender.
Mertender.
We like that word, Mertender. Does that mean that they're going to serve us rum?
I'm going to have to add that to his, yeah.
Yeah, see, a Mertender.
I like that.
I like that, Mary. See, this is one of the things that comes from our podcast. We always come up with new ideas, and everybody can share them. What do your guests think about the Mermaid show on Netflix? There's a good question. I'm not even. What's it called?
Mer people.
Ladies, have any of you seen it? The Mermaid Show on Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Mer People.
Mer
First two
People. Is it
episodes.
any good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you recommend people watch it?
Yes, I do.
It's
I thought it
interesting.
was great.
Oh, very good. So here's one for you. What about the video that they showed when there was a group of people trying to prove that mermaids were real, and they took a submersible down, supposedly down in the water, and it was very dark, and a figure came up to the glass, put their hands on the glass, looked in, and swam away again. Have you seen that one, Sorsha?
I have not actually.
Have any of you seen that one?
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah, and a lot of people say it was all fake. It was not real. Hard to say because there wasn't enough time there to do anything with it. But one of the Facebook users said they liked the show too. It was a good small series, according to Ransom Mayhem out in Panama City Beach. Very good. So, anything you want to throw at us? I'll open the floor. Mermaid free dive. There it is, right there. Very good. We'll have to go ahead and see what we can do with them. Maybe we can get them to be a part of our show in some way, shape, or form, and see if that doesn't open up a door for us. So, ladies in the studio, anything that, as we've been talking, anything that's popped in your head you want to share with our listeners?
Yeah, you talk about whether we're real or not, or if we're just legends, but we're here.
That's
There's one on
true.
TV and three of us.
That's true.
We are real.
So that see, and that opens up a question. Have any of you ever had children, mostly children, because if it was, is that Maggie? That's Maggie showing up in the scene now too.
He hears her too.
Have any of you ever had an instance where the children actually, and we're going to go two directions with this question. Any of you ever have an instance where the children say, "You're not real, you're just ladies in costumes"? Because I get that all the time. Not that I'm a lady in costume, but I do get that a lot, where kids just, "You're just somebody wearing a costume." So do any of you get that yet?
Yes.
Yes.
And how do you handle it?
Well, I tell them, usually when they do say that, they're feeling you, they're touching you, and they're asking you how come you don't have scales. And I tell them that we change when we come out of the water. We change in a lot of ways. We don't look the same in the water as we do out. And it's because we're all dried up. I mean, water, we're just all flaking out here.
Well, we had to explain to one child a couple weeks ago when they saw us in legs walking that we have
Maggie.
these special bracelets on that enable us to change from tails to legs.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So
And
what
then-
about you, Sorsha? Have you had to deal with that situation on the negative side? We'll talk about the positive in a minute, but in the negative side. And thank you, Maggie, for jumping in front of the camera.
The cat cameos are killing me. Oh yes, so yeah, there's my mer tender. Thank
There
you,
you go.
Davey. There's
Yeah, that's the hard part. We're getting wagons because I can't carry the girls anymore.
no, and it's hard on the stomach. It really is getting that
Yeah.
shoulder in there. It's just, but as far as the negative, I've had some kids. Oh, you're not real, or I can see your feet, and I'm like, no, those are my bones, honey. Or wait, what feet? Where? And I'll flap my fluke a little bit, or I see your knees. Is that what those are called? You're kidding. Kids. I haven't had a whole lot of negative experiences, knock on wood, but I'll have some kids that come up to me, well, I have a mermaid tail too. I'm like, which sea witch did you talk to get your human legs today? And I play along with them. It's, I realize you're going to have the kids that think it's cool to come up and you're not real. My parents say that it's, oh, well, or you're a human. Well, you're half right. It's deflection.
Yeah, but the
and
parents that do that to children are the same parents that remove Santa Claus from their lives too, and it's just really,
Let kids be kids.
it's silly. It really is. Being a magician, I believe that magic is part of our life no matter what, and the believability of certain things. I love it when people think I'm a real pirate. I get aggravated when kids come out, you're just some guy in a costume. I said, no, these are my work clothes.
Oh,
Right?
costume is a cuss word.
What's that?
I said costume is a cuss word to me. It's like not a
This is not
costume.
costume. Costume is something you pay $19.99 for at Walmart.
Yes. This is an investment.
This is
not
an
a costume.
investment. My coat, my sword, my leather is like a mermaid outfit. I know because how many mermaid tails do you have now, Miss CC?
2.
2, and still keep sending me pictures for others.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I wish I could say, well, at least she's not buying a lot of shoes, but I think the tails cost a lot more than the shoes.
Yes.
But they last longer.
What's that?
They last longer than shoes.
Yeah, that's true. So now let's go to the positive side, because I'm sure this is true. You get children that fully believe on that you're a mermaid. Do you get that more from the little boys or the little girls? I'm sure it's mostly little girls, but I'm going to give you the chance to answer. What do you say, Sorsha?
I get it from the little girls, but I do have some boys, but they'll kind of just do one of these, like, at first they're too cool to talk to me, just like, but then they come over and they're like, hey, I'll have to send Davey another picture, but one of my favorite interactions was actually with a little boy that was dressed in a stuffed skunk costume. And it was at North Carolina Aquarium's preschool pumpkin patch event. And he just, like, you would think that he was Velcroed to me for the rest of the day or rest of the time that he was there. But I've had some adult interactions even I was last week at the pool where I swim Tuesdays and Thursdays because I train, to keep up with fluidity and my breath hold and everything. But they had a substitute coach last Tuesday morning. And there was one little girl that she went from not wanting anything to do with the coach at all because she was very strange or anxious to swimming with me. And then she ended up swimming with the substitute. But the swim instructor told me later, my inner child came out watching you. I didn't realize that this was a real thing. I need to go get my own tail now. Like it was a dream realized. So
that's really cool then.
Yeah,
cool.
I love those moments for adults. It's like,
Yeah.
you can do this too. There's nothing that says that you can't.
Right. So, girls in the studio, have you had any of the little children think that you're absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt real? And if so, how do you handle it?
Remember the little girl at the last event we did that was a friend of Katie's?
Right.
And she was mesmerized. She was dressed like a mermaid, and she just stood in front of us and stared at us. And then I got out the glitter, and because she was staring at our faces sparkling and stuff, so I got out some glitter and I asked her if she needed some scales. And so I gave a little bit of glitter to her, and I put a little bit on her nose, and she ran and showed her dad, and he played along with it really well. It was really cute.
It was amazing.
Yeah. And then we had the little boy that kept going by and saying, "You're not real. You're not real." And then somehow he ended up still in the event after it was closed down, and we were packing down, and we had legs, and he came by and said, "See, I told you you weren't real. You got legs." And I turned around and I said, "And Ariel did too." And that's all I said.
Good conclusion to that. I'm not going to mention any names, but if you have any interaction with glitter, does that mean you're a mermaid? I'm just not going to mention any names, though. And I'm going to just leave it at that.
Well, you know how much I love glitter.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, very much so.
It's called mermaid pox.
What's
God,
that?
there's the powder monkey.
Oh, look, there he is. Once in a while, he takes over.
He needs some mermaid pox right here. It'll bring out his eyes.
Next thing we know, we're going to get him a costume with a tail, a mermonkey. A mermonkey.
Wasn't there a story about that where somebody tried to say there was a real mermaid and they took a monkey and a fish and they sewed it together?
That's a good question.
Yes.
Was that one of those
It's in Ripley's.
traveling circuses?
Yeah, Barnum and Bailey had it. It's over in Ripley's. I'm actually pretty sure it's in the Ripley's by you, even though I've been to a couple different ones. I'm pretty sure it's over by you.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to have to find out.
Yeah.
I'll have to find out if it's there, because if it's there, we might have to go do a quick picture shoot with it.
It is there.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about that? We're going to go see a mermonkey.
You can put one of the tails on the powder monkey. We put it on Deadpool all the time. So we have Merpool and we have Spiderpool. Like,
That's awesome.
we put tails on everybody.
We have and I hear the echo is picking up a little bit. I'm sorry to our listeners if the echo is bothering you. We're still learning the technology of trying to do all these things as we expand. So our apologies to all of you.
No, that's
Go
the
ahead.
mermaid sonar from all your mermaids in the room.
Yeah, that might be it. That might be it. They may be just jumping up and down over there, making all kinds of sonar marks. But yeah, so as we said at the beginning of the show, ladies and gentlemen, this is something new. We're trying to figure out how to do multiple cameras and multiple microphones and not blare over each other. Davey and I spent over 2 hours on Sunday night testing and making sure things worked. And when we turned everything on at 7 o'clock tonight, none of it worked right the way we had tested it. Not a thing. And I was about to turn into the Hulk. You talk about superheroes. I was about to turn into the Hulk. It was very frustrating. But by the same token, it's a good learning curve, and we learn things on how to do things. So it's given me an idea that we need to do a couple of shorts on mermaids. Have you done any videos that you've published, Sorsha?
I've done some TikTok videos of me swimming, and back when my phone was able to go underwater. I haven't done it again though, because I'm out of storage space. Just got it fixed because once it cracked, I couldn't take it underwater. But now I just need to upgrade the storage. But I actually have a video that my local gym did of me to advertise that, hey, our pool has mermaids. Because there was one little girl that would come to the Tuesday and Thursday swim classes, and her aunt ended up buying her a mermaid tail, so she comes and swims with me in her tail. So that's one video that's floating around on the internet.
Oh, that's very cool. But I was thinking, because Mandy's always pushing us to come up with all these shorts and everything we can do to do shorts. I think we're going to have to do a mermaid short. I think we're going to have to carry all the mermaids down to Marineland and have them on the rocks and have pirates come and capture them.
Well, I did that one a couple years ago when we were out in St. Augustine. We were just trying to be funny, and my mermaid was trying to be cute on the beach, and the wave came out and took her out and knocked her ass out. That video went pretty wild for a while.
Did you do that when you were here for Pirate Festival?
Yes.
So that would have been in January, and the water was probably cold.
It was like January of 2020, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been very cold. But yeah, we're going to have to come up with some mermaid shorts and some ideas on what we can do.
I have a great idea.
All right, what's your idea over there?
I think Captain Mayhem needs a tail.
Hey, get him one of these. Get him the red one.
If I get a tail, it would have to be a red one because that's my color. The only problem is, I don't think mermaids with kegs instead of six-packs would look very good in mermaid.
No, sweetheart, that's insulation. There's no such thing as a fat mermaid. Well, I mean, they have the Society of Fat Mermaids, but if you think of it, if you're in colder waters, you need that extra padding to keep you warm so you don't go hypothermic. So you're actually in good fit shape for cold waters.
Society of Fat Mermaids. Sofa.
Yeah, I think Shay Monique was the one that was featured on the Mer People documentary, wasn't she?
I don't know. Was she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the girls know. They're all saying yes. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, that would be hilarious. But yeah, I'm reluctant to do much. That's why I like wearing my coat and my cloak and everything.
Well, we'll get you a rash guard that matches. I mean, Finfolk makes the rash guards, so you can cover up. But I mean, you've got the long flowing locks. We got to get you underwater and take a picture like that. It would be amazing.
Well, I'll have to say it depends on the angles. I've never given it any consideration, but it would probably be a fun one because I'll give you an example. I don't know if you know this, but everybody else that's in the show knows that 15 and 16 or 16 and 17, I did the ballet.
Yeah.
I played Captain Hook in
that's right.
a ballet version of Peter Pan. Yes. And after I did the first year, Pat Croce, because I was working for Pat Croce actually said, we were sitting there having a rum, and he said, so why would you do the ballet? I mean, you've done all these other things, but why the ballet? And I said, because I read your book, and his book is a motivational speaking book about stepping into other venues and taking the challenge of life. So I did. And the biggest reason I chose to do it was more anything else, not ego, but the idea that if Christopher Walken can do it and Dustin Hoffman can do it, so can Captain Mayhem. And that's why I chose to do it. And the first year they actually put on the poster Captain Hook played by Captain Mayhem. They didn't even use my real name. So it was really cool. So anyway, it's one of the things. I know my brother's watching, and there's a good group. Of
Zachary Harker sent it, Captain.
Very good.
From the Mermaid Fest.
Now that's
gorgeous.
in Michigan, so it's probably cold water. You know what? That's the other problem I might have being a mermaid or a merman or whatever it would be. Cold water. I'll just leave it at that.
That was beautiful.
All right, that was a great picture. So, our society, the way society has gone, adults spend so much time playing dress up now. Cosplay, steampunk, mermaids, pirates. Star Wars for sure. All these different things. And I know that my brother, he's watching, so he can either verify or correct my words on it. But he told me that Dad had told him he just didn't understand our pirate life at all. So
My mother doesn't approve.
what's that?
My mother doesn't understand it, nor does she approve.
Oh, well, approval. You know.
Oh, well.
I think we're beyond the need of approval from our parents at this point in our life.
Amen.
The one thing that I used to because of this accent, and it gets thicker at times. But my mom always used to tell me to stop doing the accent, and I would have to look at her and say, I can't, I'm stuck with it. So some of it just happens, it just comes there. But it's part of our lives, it's part of what we do, but it gives us an opportunity to really do some good things for children. And that's the best part for me. I'm sure it's the best part for you too, right, Sorsha?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. No,
So
actually.
name a couple of the children's charities that you do some stuff for.
Well, Mila Hope is one of the main ones, and this year we're doing the Mythical and Medieval Festival in Myrtle Beach. It's their 10th anniversary, and so the Shadow Players are going down and performing, so I'll have my tail with me. When I'm not swashbuckling or sirening, I'm a member of the Project Superhero. It's a 501c3 local, and we dress up as superheroes. I've been Scarlet Witch. Of course, I can't do that now after the last movie. She's a little bit too scary a character now. But I've done Batwoman by Kate Kane, Dark Phoenix. So those are a couple of them. We actually dropped off 4 large, I think they're 5-gallon tubs of pop tabs to the Ronald McDonald House in Greenville at the Greenville Pirate Fest. So it's just any opportunity that we can and that we come across, the Shadow Players or Siren, Sorsha, we're all about kids. And for a while, my daughter was involved at the Shriners Hospital, so I was doing, speaking engagements for them as well.
So girls, since you're all part of the Swashbucklers, instead of having me tell everybody, you tell everybody some of the charities we do work for then.
Well, we do Inc. investing in kids, and that's the teachers that they have to buy their own materials for the year now, and we help them with their materials so they don't have to have it come out of their pockets. And we also do St. Augustine Youth Services, and mostly we do the boys camp here, and
St. Augustine Humane Society.
Yeah, and Humane Society, and we help them also.
Right. Very good. I just saw something that flashed across the comments there. Sorsha, Black Sails Adventure Company. Have you met them yet?
I have not, but I have seen. I've like kind of two ships passing in the night kind of thing. I have seen your name pop up. I think on our Shadow Players posts.
Yes. So there, I met the boss of that Black Sails Adventure when I was in South Carolina. The last weekend of April, I was there for a small get-together, a pirate get-together, and I met them, and they've become friends. We're trying to get them on the show. And as you'll see later on here in the show in just a few minutes, we've got guests all the way up until October right now. We're really doing well. So there
That's
is,
awesome!
Look at that. Where is that at? That pirate looks familiar.
FanX.
Oh, yes.
That's my best friend right there. That's Jack Sparrow. I've been messaging. He rolled a concrete truck today, but yeah,
He
he's
has
on
a
it.
pretty good Jack Sparrow look.
Spidey Maid. Spidey Maid.
And
Spidey
I see a spider mermaid.
Where's Spidey?
Spidey maid.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is cool. Spidey maid. That's really cool. Very nice.
Oh, that's even better.
Yes. So it's just up to our imagination. That is true. My brother just posted it. He said he was totally confused and why pirates. All right. Good memories for our dad then. That's a good thing. So let's us step into the next portion of our show, which is This Week in Nautical History, which you mermaids should be very interested in too. So Davey, This Week in Nautical History is sponsored by the Pirate Museum, isn't that right? Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pirate and Treasure Museum. But that's going to change starting in a couple of weeks. We just have pulled in another company that wants to be a sponsor. Florida Water Tours, just a heads up with them. Florida Water Tours is going to be one of our sponsors, and we're going to put them in with This Week in Nautical History and move the Pirate and Treasure Museum into an overall sponsorship of the program because of some of the other things that they do for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be at the Pirate and Treasure Museum every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through the entire summer, all the way up to the second week of August. So, come along and take a tour with me. If you are with adults only and want to take a tour, I am working on an adults only tour on Saturday nights beginning at 5:30 or 6. And just a little hint, we may have an invite to go to City Gates Distillery after the tour and sample about 6 different rums and have a good time. And I might even do a little bit of magic at the same time. So, if you want to come down to St. Augustine in any one of the weekends coming up, we'll be starting that tour towards the end of July. On that note, Mr. Davey, give us This Week in Nautical History. This Week in Nautical History, as I said, was sponsored by the Piderton Treasure Museum. Now, sometimes we do a check of our messages along the way, and we do a mail call, but Black Sails Adventure just said, thank you, we love this part of the show. We love having you on this part of the show, and the whole show. It's always nice. But it is time. We'll do a check of the messages as soon as we do This Week in History. Go ahead, Mr. Longwood. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, This Week in History is always sponsored by Dick's Wings. They have over 40 different menu items for lunch at Dick's Wings, all at a very reasonable price. I love to go there and eat once in a while. And if you're ever in town during the weekday and you want to go take me to lunch, that's where we go. That'll always be a good time. I saw something in here. Look at that picture right there. That's a good picture. Look at that.
Those are my girls.
Ah.
Those are the kids that are the reason behind everything that I do.
Those are your
And I can
girls.
hear them. I can hear them in the living room. They're watching live on the TV. I love you, girls.
So you have 3 daughters?
Yes, sir, I do.
Never mind. I'm not going to say anything. Wow. So I just saw somebody made a post there. Girls, somebody wants you to flap your tails. It looks really cool online. There you go, flapping your tails. Very good. Now, we're going to probably have to deal with the sheriff coming into our show in a couple of weeks because our girls are showing their tails off now. I'll get in trouble for that. Oh, well. Good evening, Captain. Enjoying the info and the lovely mermaids. Betsy Spears. Love having you on the show, Betsy. Thank you very much. We love that. Thank you, Navigator, for mentioning Dark Shadows. It was one of my favorite shows as a kid. I love that show. That was a really cool show. 1966. I was 8 years old when it came out, and I had to sneak opportunities to actually watch it. It was a very cool show. Same time as Batman came out too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Batman 2. So a couple of the other things here that I saw. We have Sea Monkeys. There was a confirmation of Ripley's. That's good. The Powder Monkey everybody saw. Mayhem is outstanding on the rope swing. Just saying. Oh yes. That was several years ago. And there's a video of me floating around where I'm doing the rope swing off the pirate ship back onto the deck. Crew of the Crimson Thorn is rooting for Mayhem as a mermaid. Ian says, live your dreams, buddy.
Turn you into Captain Neptune.
Hey, Davey, while I'm looking at the comments, any possibility you can find that rope swinging? Do you have it where you can find it? If not, don't worry about it, but you're very quick about things. Let's see. There's Betsy. Navigator for mentioning the Dark Shadows.
She's hitting me.
Ransom Mayhem. Bill, we would listen to it on the radio where we lived when we lived in Arizona. Yes, absolutely. So, it's been a grand show. It's been nice to have 4 lovely mermaids here. I see we lost Mason. Did he have to run away?
Yeah, he apologized. He had an emergency.
Okay, no worries.
There he is.
You think Steve would allow me to sword fight now too, since I can swing on a rope?
Ask him.
What's that?
Ask him.
I might have to.
Where's the recording of me doing it?
We don't show that one. If you heard, Miss Cece said, where's the recording of me doing that one? Let me explain what actually happened. She did it, but she doesn't have a very good grip on the rope, and she starts to slide down and burn her hands, and she misses the rail, and it looks like the coyote in the Roadrunner cartoons, and she splats against the side of the ship, loses her grip, and drops into the water. Her belt, her sword, everything she was wearing, and I'm stripping down quickly to jump over, and she's not there, and she comes up from the other side. She had swam around to the dock and climbed up on the dock and got on the ship.
Yeah, see, I'm with Nightingale. I want to see that.
I don't think we have a recording of it, which is probably a good thing.
There
because
is one, but I don't know where it's at.
I'll have to look for it. We'll send it to you. If there really is one, I'd probably show it on a regular basis. So as everybody hopefully sees,
Pictures of these sliding down.
we can't be perfect when we do our show, but we can sure have a hell of a good time. And that's what I like about doing the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost at 1,100 subscribers. We're going to pop up that information in just a few minutes. But I need Davey to tell me. Oh, never mind. I already know. I got my script right here. How about let's finish the joke of the week, Mr. Davey?
Okay, it is time for the answer to the joke of the week. What is a pirate's least favorite veggie? The answer is leeks.
That's a good one, Davey. That's a real good one. All right. So guests on deck. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, made mention, we have a plethora of guests to be on the show coming up. And we only have some dates in October. We have 27 Mondays between now and the end of the year. And look at all of them that are filled. Obviously, tonight was, let's see, where are we at there? A Night with Mermaids, with Sorsha and all my goddesses here. Next week will be a history of the 4th of July. St. John's County Deputy Chief Stephanie Whaley will be here. Sheriff Hardwick will be here in August. Ron Brown. That's not the most most recent one. I thought I sent you a more updated one. I've got it all the way up to the end of the year. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have dates already scheduled for October 2nd and October 16th. Two authors that are going to be on the show. One of them wrote a book about St. Augustine and the wicked ways of St. Augustine, and the other one wrote a book about mermaids. Not mermaids, female pirates. So we'll be talking about female pirates in October. So we have a good list all the way up till the end of the year. We'll get that updated a little bit more later on. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, we always like to make sure that we say thank you to everybody, and we have a nice video that we try to do that with. Go ahead, Mr. Davey.
The Captain Quarters podcast is indeed a ship sailing the seas of the world, always in search of history, knowledge, and adventure. It takes a crew to run a ship, so we take this opportunity to thank those who help keep this ship afloat. Our sponsors, the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, Dick's Wings and Grill, Spyglass Travel, Ancient City Sirens, Riker's Reenactors, Paper and Strings, and Shiver Me Pictures. The supporting cast and crew, Captain William Mayhem, Navigator Davey Longwood, Gunner Hellfire Henley, Cartographer Mandy Joan. Of course, we've got Juan and the Powder Monkey. Helping others gives the crew purpose. The charities that support are Inc., Investing in Kids, St. Augustine Youth Services, and the Humane Society. You too can be part of the crew and support the show in many ways. Go to Patreon and become a Powder Monkey or a First Mate level. Go to YouTube and become a supporter or just a contribution to the cause. Thank you. It does take a crew.
And that's our thank you, ladies and gentlemen, to everybody that supports and helps us with this show. We can't do it without all of these helpers. And we should show our platforms. You can watch us on YouTube, watch us on Spotify, and watch us on Instagram if you like. I know some people that actually, in fact, another pirate that I talked to tonight, I don't know which platform he listens to us on, but on his way to work on Tuesday mornings, he always catches the show because he can't catch us on Monday night. And he listens to the show, you can too, on one of these 5, Stitcher, iHeart, Castbox, Apple Podcast, and Music Amazon. So ladies and gentlemen, there's no way you can't find us and watch or listen to us. 8 platforms, who knows where else we'll be. So watch us or listen to us. Our numbers are great. We now have only 9 away from 1,100 sponsors. Is it more? Mandy's, what is it now, Mandy? She's muted again.
And she muted herself.
1206.
1206. Woo.
1206. We're over 1,200. Very good. Wait, 1206?
Yeah.
Wow. That's even more than I was hoping for, just 1,100, but we're at 1206 now?
We were at 1100 a little while ago.
Oh, well, I must be.
Like an hour ago.
I'm the captain. I don't get all the information right away. All right. 1,206. That's something for us to be bragging about for sure. Show us a few other numbers there, Mr. Davey.
Well, now they're probably all changed.
Yeah, everything's changed. Don't worry about it then.
Depends on which
I'm
number.
happy with 1206. We'll leave it at that. 1,206, ladies and gentlemen. And we're getting lots and lots of views on a weekly basis. Thousands and thousands of views weekly. People tuning in. Do remember, though, ladies and gentlemen, if you do go to one of those formats to watch our show or to listen to our show, please do us a favor. Stay on for at least, 3 minutes, Mandy?
3 minutes will get it to count as a view, but you need the hour count. So if they're on YouTube, you need them on there longer.
Stay on there as long as you can, and give us that extra time frame, because that's where we need it. That's how we're going to get taken care of. You can contact us at Captain's Quarters Podcast 21@gmail.com. And as you saw on our guest list, ladies and gentlemen, hey, we have authors, we have mermaids, we have pirates, we have sword fighters. We had producers in Hollywood and writers in Hollywood, and we're working on a few more. And I hope that we just completely keep filling it and finding interesting people for you to watch our show with. If you have a suggestion, let us know. I'm open to anything. If you have a contact, send me the contact. I'd love to send messages to people and say, hey, I'm doing a show. Could I get you to be a part of our show? We'd love you to be on that show and join us. So ladies and gentlemen, join us and be a part of the show. Black Sails Adventures, I know we're going to get you on the show. I know that. And click the like button, as Nightingale in Florida said. Click that like button. We need all the likes we can get. I know in this day and age we have to quit saying, oh, please like me. But still, we need it. And I hope that you do like our show. I hope that you are liking it enough that you share it with everybody. I talk about our show at every one of my tours at the museum. And I constantly get people that want to watch the show. So ladies and gentlemen, that's what it's all about. We have only one other thing I like to do before we do our last bit, and that is first for the ladies in my studio. Is there anything you want to say in closing for our audience and our listeners? You have the floor for just a moment. Go ahead.
Well, I know there's one new watcher tonight because my father's watching and his girlfriend Mary. Hi, Dad.
Very good. Very good. And Miss Cece?
Well, I just want to tell everybody that I know some people think this is strange, but until you've done it, and you don't know what it does for your heart until you do. This is just a wonderful experience, and doing pirating and seeing the happy faces of all the children, it just warms your heart.
It's amazing.
So if you go ahead and laugh if you want to, but I'm feeling great.
Very good. And Miss Indra?
Why would they laugh? We bring fantasy into your world. Enjoy it.
Very good. And Sorsha, what do you want? You have the floor now. You get to close too.
Oh, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come and talk about my Siren life. And I know I shouted out a lot to Shadow Players and some of the other organizations I'm involved with. And one of the other children's organizations, I felt bad. Now I remember Jacksonville Performing Arts has had me come out to their youth productions. When they did The Little Mermaid, they came and sang to me Under the Sea and some of the different selections. So I needed to make sure I shouted out to them and their fantastic youth productions and organizations. But I'm really thankful that this has become more normalized. Mermaiding and pirating. Not only do we have an opportunity to play and bring fantasy to real life, but we can also talk about mythology and history. So this is everything that I ever wanted to be as a kid. And now my girls see that this is possible. So I'm thankful. Thank you.
What's really great is that you get to do it with your kids.
Yes.
That's what's really cool.
They want to be mermaids, and so that might be in the cards.
Very good. Well, you'll have to bring them down here and show them around St. Augustine, the most historic.
Yay! Oh, I'm taking you up on that.
You should. Come down here. Pick a weekend and come down. In the summertime, if you got nothing going on, come down here. You're in North Carolina?
Yes.
You're not that far away.
No.
Come down here for a weekend. If you pick a weekend, I'll try to find a hotel for you.
Thank you.
Help you with that.
Thank you. I'd love that.
Contacts with hotels. We can figure something out. But you and your daughters can come down here, take a tour of the museum, and see some of the other sites here.
If only you could hear them. They're squealing in the next room.
So, Davey, put the picture of her and her daughters back up because we need to have some names. Give us the names of your three daughters.
Happily. Oh, you can pick either one of the ones I sent you. I sent you the one of us as pirates or the one of me. That was our Christmas photo when Santa Claus actually fished me out of the sea. And they went.
All
yeah.
right, so give us left to right.
All right, so left to right. So that is Rachel. She is my oldest. She'll be 16 in December. Raylan is 14. She actually just had braces put on today. So, and then my youngest, my mini-me, is Riley. She'll be 12 in September. So she is the one that at her 5th grade graduation, when they asked all the kids to take a picture and write what they want to be when they grow up, she said a mermaid.
I always tell everybody it's a good thing I grew to look this ugly because I wouldn't make any other character other than a pirate. So it worked out well for me. So, well, it's been a joy to have you on. We met in person. I knew who you were. You knew who I was long before we met. But we finally got to meet in person 2 Februaries ago now. So it's been a year and a half, I think, now.
It has.
So, and we met in person when we lived in the old house. And you have to come see the new house.
I do.
See that you thought the backyard of the old house was fantastic? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. But, yeah, and usually one of the things we like to do when we have pirates from out of town come into town, we try to have some kind of a little burgers and dog social in the backyard around the fire pit and just have a good time. No costumes, no garb, no whatever else, no mermaid tails. Just come and sit and have a good time and relax and get to know more and new friends.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
And yes, Steve can come too.
I mean, you know.
Well, you come down here and hang out. You come down here and hang out with the mermaids of the crew and the ladies of the crew, and I think you'll enjoy it. And bring
I'd
the
love
girls
to.
with you.
I'd love to. And by the time I get down there, I can't wait to hear all of your stories about your first swims and see videos.
Well, we'll see what we can do about getting them in, even if I have to take them out. I have a friend that has a pontoon boat. Maybe I'll just take them out in the pontoon boat and throw them overboard and see what happens.
Sink or swim.
That's right.
Sink or swim, that's right. That's kind of how I learned to swim when I was a kid. All right. Well, Mr. Longwood, I believe Mandy had to go ahead and go too. Well, as I always say...
Her internet crashed, Captain.
What's that?
Her internet crashed.
That's all right. As I always say, let's see, Ransom Mayhem says, Sorsha, do you know the mermaid here named Misty Joy? Do you know the mermaid over in the Panhandle named Misty Joy?
The name sounds familiar, but I can't say that I actually know Misty Joy.
Very pretty mermaid. I believe, Miss Cece, she's a blonde, right?
No, actually, she wears like whatever color her tail is. Her hair is the same color.
Oh, she matches her hair to her tail. Yeah, she has a really neat seashell throne.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she does really good. I wanted to bring her over here, but you know, the one problem I always have with bringing entertainers to my event is I have to pick and choose because I as an entertainer don't like to be asked to go in and do anything for free. So I never want to ask anybody to do anything for free. Yeah. But there's a certain limit because the more I pay out, the less I have to give to my charity.
Yep.
And I can become really very mean when it comes to not giving you money because I want to pay my charity first. So I have to make good deals, or I have to come up with ways to make things work. So
sorry, I was reading Ransom's comment.
She does a
fire
breathing
breathing.
mermaid. Yeah.
I haven't done fire breathing in years.
Now you'll be doing a fire breathing mermaid. Now, and you're going to have to do it in the red tail, you know.
Oh yeah, with Dragonheart, yes. Scarlet
absolutely.
form, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a good show, and as I always say, when we have good guests, we have great shows, and they always go longer than the hour. If it's just me and Davey, we're happy to be done in 40 minutes. So, Siren, Sorsha, we have a gift for you, and I got to catch up on it. We have a gift that we give every one of our guests. I'll be mailing it to you. I'll have to get an address for you. But it's a $100 poker chip.
Oh.
It has our logo on it. Let's see if you can see it. Here, let me get in there where you can see it. There it is. There's our logo.
That's wonderful.
And then on the other side is our sign-off calls. That little light on there doesn't make it any better. Let me see if I can do this.
Nope.
There. There we go. Does that make it a little better? No. Wow. I don't have any hardly light over here. But it's a $100 poker chip. But it's not worth $100.
That's priceless.
We're pirates.
Thank you.
But we send those out. I owe one to Steve too, and we got to get those in the mail this week and catch up on things. I've got a couple of other guests that have been on the show, and I have to get them theirs too. So this will be my week to catch up. But it's been a pleasure to have you here. And as Davey knows, when it's time to sign off, go ahead, Mr. Davey.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew. Always. We love having you around. Thank you very much for supporting us. 1,200 supporters. We're happy, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you all later on.
Bye.
Bye-bye.